Hey guys, welcome back to Big Lou TV. So then today, as you can tell, I've got the England top on. I thought I'd just give you a little rundown then of the England team then going into the tournament, and I'm going to be doing what I think Southgate's lineup's going to be for the first game against Croatia versus what I would do. So I've had to have a good think about basically what I've seen over the last few years. What Southgate is, he can be fairly predictable in a way. And so what do I think he's going to go for? So let's kick it off then, people. So in goal, Pickford. I think it would be quite surprising if Southgate doesn't choose Pickford, because he's been reliable for England all these times and pretty good. I wouldn't thrust someone in at such short notice. So I think Southgate will stick with Pickford there. So defence. He has been experimenting in this squad in the training. So I very much think he's going to go with something like this. Right. So I think he'll put Walker. Walker's going in. He likes Walker because he's fast. I still think he's got too many errors in him personally, especially at international level. But he will go in there in like the right centre-back position. He's bound to put Stones in the middle. Obviously, this is on the assumption that Maguire is injured still. And I hear then he's been experimenting with Shaw in left centre-back position. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually goes with that. Especially against Croatia, he's so defensive, Southgate. Well, that's the feeling I always get from him. So I can see these three. But then he's going to have two wing-backs. So it's almost virtually going to be like a 5. That's what I think he will do. So we will have Chilwell over there. And on the right, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes with Reece James. It could be Trippier, couldn't it? Could be Trippier. But how they did it in the Champions League final, that wouldn't surprise me at all. He'll like the fact that these guys can maybe go forward, but can also then help the defence if need be. Right then. He will want protection in front of the back four. So I think he will have Mount. I think he's one of the certains to be in the lineup, by the way. I'll circle him. The ones I think are certain in the lineup, I will circle. I think, yeah, those definitely. Mason Mount. And he's put somewhere else with him. I think he will probably put Declan Rice. I think I'll circle him, actually. He'll definitely be in the 11. So you've basically got 5. This will be your midfield. Mason Mount and Declan Rice. So you could even say he's got 7 in defence there, couldn't you? But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. If you count the keeper too, 8. I can definitely see him be very, very defensive. Right up front, you're going to have Kane. And, well, he's got to be first on the sheet, really. Probably him, the keeper, I think. Obviously, I'm looking at it as well from this point of view, coming down the page here, people. On the left, he will most likely put Mr. Rashford. I think he's shooing. And on the right is going to go Sterling. Now, especially Sterling, I don't think he's had the greatest of seasons. He wouldn't be in the lineup for me. I'm going to come on to my lineup soon. Rashford, I don't think he deserves to definitely be in the 11. I know he's done well over the years, but he wouldn't. Like I said, I'm going to come on to my lineup now. I think this is most likely. There's a pretty good chance that Southgate's going to go with this. If he doesn't have this 3 at the back, then I bet he would have someone like Connor Cody instead of Shaw, and then he was going to be choosing one of these two to be the left back. So it'll be like a 4-2-3-1. So then, for instance, if he does that with the 4, this is probably what Foden comes in to his lineup. But if he goes with a 3, I think Foden misses out on the lineup. But, you know, he could surprise us, people. Right, so here's my lineup then. I also go Pickford. Now, I know that he gets sometimes a lot of flack. He's done fairly well for England, though. I've never seen him do a really, really bad error. So, yes, okay, he might parry shots sometimes, or he might let a goal in that maybe another keeper would have saved. But he never makes so far, touch wood, he's never made a glaring error. So I like to keep Pickford in the goal. If I was going to have another goalie, I would have trained him up before the tournament or give him virtually all of the qualifiers. And you don't want to do what was it Fabio Capello, wasn't it, in 2010? But he put Rob Green in goal, didn't he? And he virtually never played hardly any England internationals. And then he made the mistake against USA. So I wouldn't do that to any keeper. I think, it's not good to thrust them in like that. At least the backup keepers, Henson, Johnston, though, have some experience in playing in case Pickford gets injured or he has to get thrust on at some point during the match. Right then. So what did I go for? I'm just looking at my book here as well, because there were so many different changes that you could have done. So I'm quite a traditionalist. So I'm going 4 at the back. Trippier is my right back. I really rate him. I think his crossing's really good. In his case, not as fast as Walker, but I think his game is all around very solid. Like his crossing, like his passing. He's decent at defending. I like him. And look at his free kick in the World Cup semi-final last year. Not just the free kick. He was doing other good free kicks up to that point and good deliveries. So I think he's a great player to have in the 11, especially as Southgate didn't take Ward-Prowse, for instance. I mean, yeah, I could be making a debate here about what players should be in the squad, actually. So, I mean, I'd say Wan-Bissaka should definitely be in the squad for the Euros. I can't believe he's just not picking him. And there's a few others. But for now, this is from the players that he has taken. I'm really giving you this lineup from. Okay. Stones. Fairly good season for City, hasn't he? And he did make that mistake in an England friendly recently. So, oh God, well, get your mistake out of the way now then, John. He's got to go at the back though. He's still fairly experienced, and he had a good season for City. So I would go Connor Cody with his centre back partner. Obviously, I'd have Maguire if he wasn't injured, but Cody played well when I see him play for Wolves and when he played for England, and I think he deserves the centre back position. You could go Mings, and a lot of people say he might start Mings, but I think he's got a few more arrows in his game than Cody, so I wouldn't go for that. No. And in the left back, then I like Chilwell. I know Shaw's had an amazing season. I am a United fan, but so's Chilwell. He's really good. I think he's got more goals in him. Just as good a crosser as Shaw, in my opinion. But he had a really good Champions League final. But that's one of the hardest calls, in my opinion, who to have at left back. They're both very good. You could say Reece James, had a good finish to the season too. I'd go for Trippier for experience and it's all-round game. I really like it. That's just my personal opinion, though. Okay. Now, it's against Croatia, so it's going to be tough. I will put 2 players in front of the back 4. I'm going to have Calvin Phillips for Leeds. When I've seen him play all season, he's got a lot of energy in him. The Bielsa, the manager there, he's really got their fitness top scratch, up to the best that can be. And I would put Mount. He has changed my mind as the season's gone on, actually, Mount. He seems solid. I think he can do defensive work. And in a way, I almost want it to be a 4-1-2-1-2. I want him to push forward when England have the ball and come back when they don't. Okay, let's straight away just put Kane up front. I think any England player doesn't have Kane on the pitch, well, I'd be quite surprised. You've got to put him on the pitch, haven't you? You've got to. So I've got 4-2. I've got 3. I'm going to 4-2-3-1. I'll put that at the bottom. 4-2-3-1. And this one that I think Southgate will go for, let's call it a 5-2-3. So I think you've got to get Foden. Foden must be on this pitch. I think he's more a creative player, very attacking minded. I don't know, I've not watched him enough to know is he great defending. So I'm going to put him further up the pitch than Mount, for instance. Yeah, we've got to get Foden on the pitch for definite. On to the left side, well, I also think you've got to get Grealish onto the pitch. And he seems to do well from the left-hand side when I watch him play for Villa. So I think that would be the perfect place to put Grealish. And the last player, I'm not having Sterling in my lineup. He's not been good enough, and he's had chances at other tournaments before, so I'm not going to do it. And this player, I haven't seen much of him. I've not seen him play much. Sancho, because he plays in Germany, and I've seen some of the highlights over the tournaments and stuff over the years, and in the Bundesliga, I've seen his highlights. So I don't know enough about him, but from what I have seen, he seems fast. He seems similar to a Sterling player, but I think at least he's fresher, younger, and maybe he will have something to prove. And even if he doesn't, I think why not start a new player? Sterling's had a lot of opportunities already in England's tournaments, and he hasn't scored many. Not, in my opinion, not played very well. Give him a go. That's what I would say. Yeah. Now, I just think my team there I've come up with is, well, it's got a bit more style going on in it. And I think we're more likely, maybe we're looking more to outscore the opponent there, but I've still got a bit of defence there, though, with the 2 in front of the back. But I'm expecting Mount, I want Mount to be attacking when we have the ball. Whereas I think Southgate's going to go for something very safe. Bit like UK Eurovision entries. You watch it. I do a lot of Eurovision stuff, don't I? And he's going to go safe. And this, I don't think, is the right way to go. I can see him doing something similar and get Scotland and the Czech Republic that are probably, on paper, slightly weaker opposition. So maybe I will let him off if he does this against Croatia. But if then he persists with it and some of these players don't play well, I still expect Southgate's sort of manager that just keeps playing the same players. So we don't want that to happen, do we? So we've got some other players that are in the squad. We've got like Saka, Bellingham. I'd like to see these sort of players maybe brought off the bench when we have the substitutions. Maybe he'd want to Walker on near the end if there's a lot tired legs and he's fast. We've got Ben White in there, which is a decent option maybe instead of Cody. So yeah, we've got Calvert-Lewin, haven't we? Hopefully he's going to be subbed on for maybe Kane at some points. But then again, Southgate's probably not going to ever take Kane off the pitch. Even if it's 10 minutes to go and he looks knackered, he probably wouldn't do it. But I think I'd consider doing it, especially in the group stage. Yes. So, right, I could go on for many an hour, much longer. But that's my opinion, really, of the 11 for the Croatia match, first game of Euro 2020. I'd go with something more like this. I think it's got a bit more flair and it's got more chances to score goals, but also generally win the match because I still think it's solid towards the back of the pitch with players in my back 5-6 that I think are a bit more reliable, a bit more consistent. Okay, maybe they haven't got as a great peak. Like you could say Reece James, people will argue, is better than Trippier. But I still think Trippier consistently across all the board with all of his stats and experience, I'd still go with him. But this is what I fear as an England fan. Southgate's going to go super, super safe. So that's what I worry, people. So yes, that's what I'm thinking. Let us know your thoughts on the lineups and what teams are you supporting at the Euros this year, people. Have you got some favourite players you're looking out for? People you've put some bets on, or countries? And what do you think the England match is going to do? Do you follow the English football much and the players? Yes, what do you think? Tell me, and I'll see you again, because I'm going to do a predictions video too for like the whole tournament. So I'll see you for that too. Right, so people, bye.